Welcome, everyone, to the Soul Tribe podcast. I'm Auntie Charmaine, where we value community, connection, devotion, herbalism, and all the other amazing things that brought our grandmothers together. We're keeping the traditions, and we are so excited to have you here with us.
Hey everyone, it's Auntie here, and welcome to the Soul Tribe. I have an amazing guest with us today, the Boujee Healer.
Hi,
Hi, how are
everyone.
you, sweetheart?
So good. I'm so honored to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, beloved. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about today, guys, is the awakening. It's not
Mm.
always pretty.
Oh my God.
How do we ground ourselves in a reality when a lot of people are awakening at one time?
Mm. Yeah, so this is probably the biggest topic that I love talking about because I feel the most struggles that we have when we are on the awakening path is, with our family members or our partners or people that we're not resonating with anymore. So we have this just resistance that we hit, and it's for our soul growth. So there's a lot of challenges along the way in learning how to ground yourself during this process. And it goes in waves and waves of
Oh, yeah.
contraction, expansion. So there's so many deep challenges we face. I love this topic.
Mhm. So let me tell you, one of the things that I realized, like when we was coming up, my grandmothers used to say things like, "Oh, baby, she going through it." You know what I'm saying? You didn't necessarily know exactly what the going through it meant,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you knew you was going through it. A
Yes.
lot of times people don't realize because of that Saturn placement by age 29, 30, you're going to have your first Saturn return. That is when you have your experience as a full-fledged adult. By
Yeah.
age 40, 39, 38, 39,
Yeah.
then that's the age when you're starting to not just simply recognize the
Hmm.
energy, you're starting the process of playing with the energy. When
Hmm.
did you start seeing that the awakening was happening to you?
Okay, so I had like a crash course, like many people do, where it just hit me really hard in 2017. I had like
Mhm.
this just slap me awake kind of experience where one would call it a kundalini awakening, which to many is understandably very intense. And that sent me into my whole deep process of what we call the next phase, a dark night of the soul, where you have to break your old identity down and let go of all of your attachments to who you were and find out who you really are. And that is such a deep process we go through.
Oh, yeah. And you
Yeah.
know what's so funny? People don't realize the dark night of the soul can look like a lot of different things for a lot of people.
Yes. Yes. It's
They
so
don't
true.
realize, yes, because that Saturn being in dependent upon that house placement, that's
Yeah.
exactly what is going to determine how you're experiencing it. So
Yes.
I'll just use my very life as an example. Every single planet that comes to teach you and test you, all of mine are in Scorpio. Pluto in Scorpio, Saturn in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio. So
Yeah.
clearly, I
Yeah.
came to die and reborn many, many, many times.
Yes. Yeah. And like, for some people, they go through it with a little more ease. And some people have to go through some really tough stuff that, I always hear this. Most people wouldn't make it through this kind of that kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
most of it is very challenging in general because it's just, it's growth, it's soul evolution, it's comfort, getting out of your comfort zone and growing pains. But yeah, everyone's is completely different. And I do sessions with people every day. I work with people here in Mount Shasta every day who are on their awakening journey, and every single person's dark night periods are completely different and unique.
You know, I realize as unique as our experiences are, our dark night of the soul experience really tells us what we've battled with from birth all the way through till you get to the point where you start experiencing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about when you were young. You
Mm.
thought about how your life was going to be. I'm from Brooklyn. So I literally thought, okay, my life is going to be amazing. I'm going to move to Connecticut. I was born in the 80s. So I'm going to have me a little
Yeah.
station wagon and,
Yeah.
my little dog and my
Yeah.
man, and my little kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of those, listen, all of the things happened, but it didn't happen in Connecticut. And I
Yeah.
got the dogs, but you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
guess my point is I realized that spirit is the one that orchestrates the details, but we simply put in the order.
That's it. And what's cool, because a lot of times we put it on ourselves and we're like,
Yep.
I have to get this done, have to manifest this. I have, and then it's on the and we
Come on
put
now.
all this stuff on our shoulders, but what that does is create resistance in that dark
It's
night of the
good.
soul. And we think we have to do it all on our own. And that
Mhm.
creates such resistance to the power that we hold in our solar plexus, our power center, right above our belly button. And this is usually where I see people in their dark night of the soul periods really blocked up because they're trying to control things. They're not surrendering to the process and allowing and trusting it. And I think that's the biggest thing we all struggle with is the trust factor that can
Come on.
shift our perception so we can go into the next phase of our awakening and get out of that little period. So that's the deep trust that we are called to have in those times of the dark night of the soul, to say, you know what? And I always have this visual when I hit those spots in my own awakening, and other people, I guide them through this. It's like just drop to your knees and say, God, I am done doing it my way. I
Ooh.
am done doing it my way. I give it up to you, God. I give it up to
Mm.
you, God. And you allow God and the universe to show you these miracles that can come in, and you're blocking them by trying to do it your way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so funny as parents. I don't know if you have children, but
I have
as
four.
parents, you have some.
Four, yeah.
Me too. I have four
Really?
children. Swear.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm not
That's
kidding.
wild.
Listen, one daughter, three sons.
Amazing. Yeah, I have
Yes,
two and
yes.
two.
So see, perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
That be perfectly balanced because clearly, which is why my Scorpio is so prevalent. Um, that being said, a lot of the times when we're moving through these dark night of the soul moments, we're not seeing how every single choice we made up until then was all orchestrated for our highest good.
Yeah.
Every single, listen, I have experienced things that have brought me to my knees. I'm
Yeah,
a
girl.
very, very, very strong person. And I mean to the absolute knees
Yeah.
because I realized that I was drowning out God's voice with my own.
Wow. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you really feel alone. And I will tell you, I will never forget the moment, and I'm sharing this very vulnerably with everyone who's listening to this and you, that I will never forget the moment that I'm a very strong person as well. I was a single mom of four young children,
Mm.
and I went through a lot during that time, and I got through it just fine. But when I had my awakening, that was a whole other level of challenge. And I felt so deeply alone in it because I wasn't connected to God in the way that I should have been in the deep trust.
Mm.
I felt so alone that I had these suicidal thoughts one day in the shower where I was like, I could just leave here and that would be fine with me at this point.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was like, I've never had those thoughts before where I could just be done here and be okay with that. And I came out of that very quickly thanks to meditation.
Yes.
And meditation is what really saved my life and kept me here. And finding people on YouTube and finding people on Instagram and finding these people who are speaking out on these experiences, which is why I always am encouraging everyone to get up and do what you're doing and what I'm doing and just talk about this to spread
Yes.
awareness. So I dedicated my life mission to spreading
Mm.
awareness about the awakening journey. And I'm glad you're doing it too, because we don't talk enough about. I am so glad, Charmaine, that you chose this topic, because to me, in my heart, I truly believe it is the most important topic. Because
Yep.
everybody's talking about the love and the light and the 5D and the new earth, which is important. But we are not talking enough about, like, let's talk about how depressing this is sometimes, how much anxiety we have hold, and like how much we really have to do the shadow work, and like it is not easy a lot of the
No.
time. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
But it's so funny. Okay, so I am like one of few that comes from my kind of background
Hmm.
who are on this journey in this way.
Okay.
Why? Because in the African American community, church is huge,
Yes.
huge. Faith is huge.
Hmm.
I think it's my generation that is starting to see the cracks in religion and starting to separate religion from spirituality. I think
Mm.
it's in my generation that are saying, I need a more intimate relationship with God. Literally, like
Wow.
I can get lost in the forest. I can go on hikes and completely get
Yes.
lost. And I
Yes.
will literally sit by a lake on a Sunday morning where there's no people.
Yes,
And I
girl.
will do my prayers and I will cry out my soul. And that to me is church.
That's what our ancestors did, girl. And I at this very same thing. I used to be a worship leader. I grew up in Baptist, Southern Baptist churches.
Oh, Lord. Not
Yeah.
the Southern Baptist.
Yeah, the Bible
Lord.
Belt. We were in the Bible Belt. And it's really hard to understand all of this if you're in that, but I have the closest relationship to God out in nature than I've ever had sitting in a pew at church.
Yes.
And of course, I love to worship God in church, but
Yes,
the
that's right.
experience of being out in nature and just doing it in your own way is so beautiful, and we need to give ourselves permission and give other people permission to connect with God in whatever way they feel called to do. It doesn't need to be a certain way.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
here's what I realized is on your awakening journey, it is going to be predetermined some of these aspects. So
Yes.
what do I mean by that? I literally have four children. I have been pregnant 9 times. I've experienced five miscarriages, and two of them almost killed me 60 days from each other. Now, if
Whoa.
that's not come on now, things that you just
Yeah.
cannot explain. Lady, I said
Yeah.
my Saturn, Mars, and Pluto
Yeah.
are all in Scorpio, and I just so happen to be in Aquarius. So, do you
Wow.
come on,
Come
ladies?
on now.
Come on now. So
Come
when
on
you're
now.
talking about requiring humbleness,
Yeah.
some of the reason why I think we avoid these aspects is because it is so humbling. It can be humiliating because it takes you down to bare naked. It
Yeah.
doesn't leave room for your attitude or your ego. It
Right.
requires you to have both feet on the ground.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Oh my goodness. Both feet on the ground, right? It
Oh
is
yeah.
the goal. And the thing for me was I had to strip myself down of everything. I left
Mm,
my business. I didn't want to do it anymore. It didn't resonate anymore. And this is what I feel a lot of people face. They don't resonate in their work anymore. They don't resonate in their relationship anymore. They don't resonate with the friends anymore. They don't resonate. And that fear comes in making the changes that need to be made to get in alignment. And until
yes.
that change is made, usually you're going to be stuck, right? So I had to strip myself down and I had to make all the changes necessary. And it continued to show me more changes I needed to make along the way. But I like that fast track band-aid rip kind of style. I like to just like speed things up. So I would just make the changes pretty quickly. And I will tell you, the moment I got into my healing work and I started doing like Reiki healing, I became an energy healer. It changed
Yes.
everything for me. But it wasn't until I actually decided to create a website and put offerings online and say, I am energetically behind this and I believe in this. That's when my stuff started taking off and people were attracted because I believed in myself. And I
Yes.
so it's like you got to strip yourself down. You got to make the sacrifices you need to make. It's like initiations. I always call it initiations.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Sweetheart, let me tell you something. I know people from all kinds of walks of life, whether it's something you practice, whether it's just you being a spiritual person. I know
Mhm.
people who are Buddhist, Hindu, etc., from all walks of life. The one
Yeah.
common denominator we all understand is that it comes to a point where you have to meet yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's scary now. I didn't say it wasn't scary. My grandmother
Yeah.
used to say it all the time. I never said the road wasn't gonna be
Yeah.
easy. I never
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. We didn't come here
But
for
it's
easy.
yeah, but it's so necessary.
Yeah, and you know what? Those initiations, we get through them and we're like, now I understand why I need to go through that because I can tell you this, all of us that are watching this right now, I know you're attracting the community that is leaders. I know you're attracting the community of like people that are standing in their mission. And I can feel it, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
what has to happen is we have to gain the knowledge from those blocks that we have and why we have them and how we can get through them because then we're going to share that code
Yep.
with the next person and that's the ripple effect of the light grid we're creating right now. We're all guiding each other. So
Yes.
it's like we have to go through these things and learn from them. And I like to call it transmutation, if you will.
Yes.
Like we transmute that energy by bringing in the opposite, the higher energy of like love and compassion and all these things, and we heal it
Yep.
ourselves. The one thing
Oh,
that I am big on right now is healing ourselves and loving ourselves instead of always looking to external teachers and readers and all of these things for the answers. There's this new really call to like do it yourself and go all the way
mm.
within and get those answers you have within your heart.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And you know what? That's so cool that you said that because
Yeah.
that's literally my entire spiritual practice. It's
Really?
literally guiding people to themselves. My job is not to teach you anything that is for me. My job is to give you what you need to equip you to
Yeah.
meet yourself. That is it. That is it. Because
Yeah.
then we get into the murkiness of things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I do. I do. And that's the thing. And thank you for being in such integrity. And I know everyone watching is appreciating that too, because there are a lot of spiritual teachers out there that are, taking your money and telling you they're going to make all these promises and you're going to be in this
Mm-mm.
different place by the end of it. And there's no support and there's no change. And it's the service to self consciousness. But the thing is, we're moving out of that consciousness so quickly. Right now, the veil's becoming thin and people are seeing through it all. And they really want authenticity. So
Yes.
if everyone could just show up as your authentic self, that's all you really need to
Mm.
do. And we overcomplicate it and we create these blocks for ourselves with our mission, with our abundance. But all we got to do is show up and be in our heart because the heart is felt and it's always truth.
It is so true. And here's the thing that I can appreciate about your work is that even with your spiritual background, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I feel like church has its place. I do feel
Yes.
like a foundation of some kind of spiritual connection is important
Absolutely.
because you'll find that as a practitioner, a spiritual practitioner, is what we're called in our community, you'll find that it's hard to work with a baseline person. So it's very
Yes.
hard to work with an atheist or a person who's agnostic because it's how do I teach you something that you have to experience on your own?
Yeah.
But if I can teach you some personal development, some spiritual guidelines in which you can use to as modalities to move the energy forward, if I
Yeah.
can teach you things that will build encouragement and
Yeah.
confidence in your own work, you're going to do amazing things.
That's
How
it.
do we get spiritual leaders and practitioners to understand the difference?
Ooh, that's a great question. And it's really about discernment, right?
Mm,
It's really about tuning into your intuition and saying, do I really resonate with this? What are the
mm,
reasons I'm feeling called to do it? Is it lack? Is it lack? Like I need to make more money, so I'm going to go to this person because they're saying that they're going to make me a lot of money? Or is it
right.
because I truly resonate and I get chills up and down my arms when I listen to this person speak because I know it's truth? And I'll tell you, like, we all know this deep down, but when we hear somebody and we're like, I love what she's saying. I feel that. I love you. Thank you for saying that. It's because
Mm,
we're experiencing a part of ourselves through that person that wants to be activated because we're all connected in that consciousness.
yes.
So that's when you know it's the truth. That's when you know it's authentic. But if it's in the
Yes.
mind of all these other reasons that, it doesn't feel heart, you just know. You just know. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to do, because my background originally was in media, but I was a writer at the Huffington Post for a
Oh,
while.
nice.
And then again, chasing accolades, the
Yeah.
accolades of it all. because when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you think the bigger the name, the more success, the more
Yep.
you've succeeded. You don't
Yep.
realize that those are all man standards. You don't
Yes.
realize that you're going to end up meeting the same energy your grandmothers met and your great
Yeah.
grandmothers met, because no
Wow.
one gets to escape this work. The
Yeah.
moment you realize what is the difference between right and wrong and how your life has to change for your soul's greatest good, you'll find that the old you will start to fall apart, so much so that you can't even stop the inner rustling within yourself. What are some ways that we can get people to start seeing it from a place of being excited for the new, honoring the fact that you have to let go of the old, and being okay with taking your time as you build the new?
Ooh, wow. That's really great because a lot of people get frustrated because it's not happening right away. And it is
Mhm.
such a deep process of building the new while letting go of the old attachment of yourself. And gosh, that's when people get really overwhelmed. And I will say the biggest, I mean, it's this simple for me. The biggest thing that you can do in that moment is go into nature.
Yes,
It's that for me, go into nature or do something like meditation. Really, meditation is good, but like really just nature, mama nature for me and many, many
yes,
others. If you could just go outside and breathe and do something where you're not running your brain around, you can bring yourself to what we call the 0 point field, which is like complete presence. And you will get that nervous system calming down. You'll be able to get clarity on the next steps and you'll move through things more gracefully. And what it does too is it opens up your crown chakra and allows you to connect to the oneness of the universe and release all the attachments from the crown and the heart, where everything flows gracefully. Everything's interconnected. Oh, I understand why it's happening this way. It doesn't need to hurry up. Everything is divinely connected. So
mm,
we've got this head and heart coherence going. So anything that can bring you into a state of heart coherence is key. For me, that's nature. For me, that's going on a hike, sitting by the
yes.
lake.
Oh, come on
It's as
now.
simple
Come
as
on
that
now.
for most people.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
I told some of my dearest friends here in Nashville about your show. And
Mhm.
one of my good girlfriends are from California. And
Mhm.
she said, and I quote, she says to me, well, Charmaine, everybody says Mount Shasta has a portal. So for every one of us who don't know about the Mount Shasta, because we know the Smoky Mountains, we
Yeah.
don't know the Mount Shasta. So you got
Yeah.
to educate us on that.
Oh, girl, I would love to. I'm sitting with the mountain right outside my window right now. And
Wow.
this is the root chakra. Well, some say it's the crown chakra. It's been crowned. And many know it as the root chakra. Just tune into your own discernment. Uh,
Yes.
it is an energy center. It's a vortex of the earth, and it is so powerful. And there are many portals here, where
Wow.
beings, intergalactics, can come in and out of dimensions. I see them all the time here,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
do galactic contact evenings here, where I will sit and connect with groups of people and connect with starships and things that will come in and out of portals and dimensions. And this place is known for that because the veils are very thin here. The energy is extremely high here. It's a very small town. Not a lot of people leave here, but people do come from all over the world here, to get who are usually on a spiritual path to really
hmm,
douse this energy, because all of the light workers and all of the star seeds and the people that are on the awakening
yes.
path, this is a charging port for people like us. People that are like got the light bodies online, that as soon as you have an awakening, your light body's online. You start the crystallization process, which means you're
Wow.
going from a carbon-based light body to a crystalline light body. And sometimes there's these ports in, different sacred sites in the world where we can literally just plug in like a charger and charge ourselves up and get nourished and get codes and get information, and then we leave
Yes.
vibrating higher. So there are many, many things like that here. It's a vortex of energy where it's very heightened. The healing is amplified, your
Wow.
manifestations are amplified. It's a land of with medicine, similar to
Oh, wow.
Sedona, but kind of a much different vortex energy.
Wow. You know, it was so funny. There's a channel I used to listen to, and I still listen to her. I'm
Mhm.
sure you got to know Miss Barbara Marcinier. Got to know Miss Barbara.
Sounds very familiar.
Miss Barbara has been around, sweetheart, since the 90s, maybe even
Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
a much older woman now, much,
Okay.
much older woman.
I'm
But
sure I've read her stuff.
yes, she used to hold her seminars in Sedona.
Oh,
And
wow.
one of the reasons why I thought Mount Shasta was pretty interesting because there are so many African tribes, but one that everyone knows is the Dogon. And they used to look in the heavens and wait for, and they could literally map out the exact astrology in the heavens. And they talked about how there was, a vortex there.
Yes.
Okay, now, with all of this commotion going on in certain places in the world, because I'm sure you can read where I'm about to go,
Absolutely.
and all the unrest in certain places, there was a place where one of the elders in the civil rights movement, he's passed on now, but his name's Dick Gregory, and he talked about how there was a portal in the Middle East that was doing the same thing. That was in your Mount Shasta, that was in your Sedonas. There are, like you said, these portals everywhere where
Mhm.
energetics can come
Yes.
and really do some healing work. How do we as light workers put out such a powerful vibration of peace and
Mm,
love and send it energetically to
mm.
these places where there is upheaval in such a massive way that we start the process of combating that, because the Kabbalion talks about combating that. We read that, we know that, right? We also have other books that teach about transmutation and the laws of the universe. How do we use those opportunities to use that kind of work for the good?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this because something that I've been guided to really speak on, and we can all share this knowledge once we understand it, is the seven sacred flames, which I teach about a lot, but mainly the violet flame. To me,
Mhm.
this is one of the most powerful things that we could do, and it's the power of prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer is so powerful when we pray. And when we talk about, utilizing light and sending light consciously, focusing our consciousness on sending light to these places is enough if you get confused. But the violet flame is the flame of transmutation. It will transform energy. It carries a very high frequency and it will transmute and dissolve all distortion
Oh,
and
wow.
in any person, in any part of the land. It can heal the land, it can heal the people. And Saint Germain is very well known in Mount Shasta here. He is the ascended master of the violet flame. And
Mm.
this is a master that it's like Master Jesus and him work very
Mm.
close together, you know,
Oh, wow.
and for the ascension of the earth. So you can call upon Jesus, you can call upon Saint Germain to assist you in these moments and sending the violet flame to these people, to the land. And imagine this violet flame just blazing through the earth, blazing and
Wow.
transforming. And what we call it is alchemizing into balance and harmony. And we start to then visualize everybody in harmony. So the power of our consciousness can absolutely shift timelines. So you might see one timeline playing out where there's war, but if a million of us are focusing on sending the violet flame to these areas and praying and seeing these people
Yes.
free and happy and joyous, then we absolutely can shift the reality to a new bandwidth, to a new movie screen. So to me, I love utilizing the violet flame to send to the world, to send to people, and really use it on ourselves when our own healing. That's been really powerful for me and people I work with.
Okay, so I love the idea of empowering people. Because
Yes.
one thing I don't like is when I see people say what all the problems are. Lady, we know the problems. We wake up
Yeah.
to the problems. We hear the
Yeah.
problems. It don't need to be on repeat. We get it,
No.
right? The
Yeah.
world is what it is. Only when you participate in that world. Listen, one of the things that I did to protect my awakening
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
stop watching TV. I had to stop it. I had to turn that off. I cannot watch it. It's too negative. It's
I don't even have
inundated.
a TV anymore, girl.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I cannot do it. I'm telling you, I cannot do it to the point
Yeah.
where I literally only touch my phone to create something positive or to hear something positive. If it is not bringing in some form of goodness and outputting something positive, even if it's a harder email to write, it still needs to be a positive one. I make sure I put myself in these spaces energetically. So I make sure I work in an environment that's aesthetically attractive. I make sure I invite people on my platforms that are going to add a value. How
Right.
do we take our lives from being a concept of positivity and spirituality? Because some people are too not for nothing. Some people are too positive. It feels almost fake. It feels
I
as
wanted to talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to talk about what people are going to feel like, oh, toxic positivity. You can't just focus on
yes,
the positive, da da da. There is a realness to everything. But what we could do is we can move into what again, the oneness, unity consciousness. Let this be the goal. If we are in moving into unity consciousness, we are connected to the one. We understand that everything is exactly as it needs to be for the evolution of our consciousness in the collective. So if there are things playing out, they have to play out. We, however, have the power to co-create with the universe. So whatever we're focusing on and directing our attention on, this is what known, we all know this, that's what we're
yes,
creating more of. So if you're turning on the TV and there's millions of us watching that, we're creating that literally.
oh
That's
yeah,
why it's a program. That's why it's a program. So disconnect completely from all of it. Don't feel guilty for not watching the news because you think that you have to pay attention to all of that because everyone else is, and focus on what kind of world you do want to see and what you can do about it. And what are the things that you could start sharing that can help change that. Yeah, it's because our inner child was attacked from day one from the system of programming of like, okay, you're going to work and you're going to work really hard and you're going to make money and then you're going to have to pay all your bills and be stressed out. And this is the way that life is. And so we got all these programs running and all these things. Our parents were stressed out. Our parents were telling us they don't have enough money to get this and that. And then there's all these deep programs we have to get through and break through when we are older. And it's just a bunch of programming that we have to work on deprogramming.
yeah,
That's right. They don't want us to know any of this. And then when we get out and we talk about it, everyone thinks we're crazy. The cool thing is there's way more of us now that are awakening that we don't need to care about that anymore. And I think you get to some point, everyone gets to some point where you're like, I don't care anymore. What people think when you get to that, oh, you are golden because then you can move forward. I think that did hold me back definitely for a little bit there because I was in a relationship with someone who thought I was absolutely bonkers, and then also I was afraid to lose business from clients that were in the fitness industry for me. So when we shift to industries or we shift a relationship, we always are afraid we're going to lose something, but we gain so much more when we trust and we go into that, like, not caring what people think. But definitely they do try to make people look crazy for talking about anything other than what the programming is. So we just got to make this normal.
yeah. It's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true. It's very normal to me, right?
Yeah.
Because I've allowed the veil. My grandmother used to call it a veil. I allowed the veil to fall and
Yeah.
allow myself to see things in its purest form. I also realized something too. I was having a meeting with one of my good girlfriends, and she works at Forbes, and she said, "Charmaine, you're an intellect." And then she goes, "You're the type of person who would only connect yourself with people who are more like you." And I thought that to myself,
Huh.
what if all of these light workers are literally like, I recognize one. Okay, yeah, she got the light. Okay, I want to
Yeah.
connect with that. How do we
Yep.
start connecting each other?
Oh, I really
Mhm.
love that idea of connecting with each other more. And I would love to speak on that now too, because there are so many of us that are actually connecting very synchronistically. Like it's almost like we don't even need to do anything. We are all being connected. It's pretty wild. Because like I will say, the more that you put yourself out there as your true authentic self and the louder you get with it, the more people will come into your field that will resonate. So you got to put the
Yep,
signal out. Yeah.
yep, yep.
Was bringing people together. What are some of the ways that we can enrich the spiritual community, bring people together in a dynamic way, and really foster a sense of community and tribe?
Tribe. Well, I think, for many people, I know many people are getting the call to develop their own communities, be community leaders, maybe doing an online group meditation, as simple as that. Or maybe for
Yes.
me personally, I'm going to start next week a group meetup here for free in Mount Shasta to meet on the mountain and pray and give back to the mountain since so many people come here and take energy. So I want to give
Oh,
back to the
wow.
mountain. I want to give back to the land and put offerings and prayers, and that's going to be a great community thing because then we can get to know each other and get to know how we can support each other. So I think just building
Mm.
ideas and ways for people to just be able to come together in some way is highly beneficial at this time.
Oh, yes, I agree. When someone is wanting to connect with you, they're wanting to do a retreat with you, they're wanting to come experience Mount Shasta with you, when they're wanting to bridge communities together and really enjoy each other, how do we take what we are being taught, what we're learning, what we're growing through? How do we take that and apply that to our everyday lives by working with you?
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. So the way that I like to, I used to be a fitness instructor. So it kind of carries over to my spiritual work
Mhm.
where I like to, I don't like to baby people in what's happening. I like to call people out and say, okay, well, you're doing this, and these are the patterns that you're doing, and this is what's keeping you stuck. So I like to say, well, you're doing this, and
Okay.
you're doing this here. So I'm a little bit of an ass kicker when it comes to that. So it's like, let's get real, and if you don't want to get real, you ain't ready. So it's like, come on, let's, and I kind of just motivate. All I'm doing is being the energy channel and the conduit for the energy to move. So I like to bring the conscious to the unconscious,
Mm,
because sometimes you just need another
yes,
person like you, like me, like all the other guides,
yes,
to just be that
yes.
mirror and to say, I'm seeing this. Are you not seeing that? Because I'm seeing this. And be like, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I am doing that. Yeah. So
Hmm,
just
hmm.
really point those things for people, and then given the tools to how to move it. And that's the support we need. It's almost like I like to call people like you and me and everyone out there who's guiding and coaching accountability partners. That's kind of
Mm,
what we are. We're here to hold you accountable.
yes,
And we want to see you grow.
yes.
We don't want you working with us for years. You shouldn't be.
No,
You should be out there teaching soon. You know? Like we're
yes,
gonna hold you
yes.
accountable. We're gonna call out those things. So I like to move that energy really quickly and bring up, okay, let's get it
Mm,
all out. Let's get it all out. What are you doing to yourself right now? Where are you not taking
hmm.
responsibility? Where could you stop complaining and victimizing yourself and to get in alignment with your mission and stop avoiding the discomfort in the change, right? So that's what I like to do to move the
Oh,
energy.
oh, okay. Now you touched my soul with that one. Now you touched my soul with that one.
I would
Because
love to
I
come
feel
on.
like we really just, thank you. Because I feel like we just kind of like touched it a little bit, but we didn't really just like peel the banana peel off. Like I need it off. Like get to it. So I feel
Sounds
like
good.
y'all, we need a part 2 with the
We
Boujee
do.
Healer, and I
We
feel like
do.
we need it sooner rather than later because we
Yeah.
need this information.
Yeah. No, I am down. I love your energy, and I really align with you in the way that you hold your consciousness and you hold, I could feel the authenticity. I could feel your heart. So I'm honored to be on your show. And I would love to come back.
I'm excited. I'm excited, baby. Listen, everybody can wait to clap their blessings in. I'm clapping mine in now. Come on now. Okay. Yes. Well, everyone, it was a pleasure for you to join us today. I am so honored to have you here with us. You are a magnificent addition to the Soul Tribe, and we are excited to bring your community with us because literally, we're all one. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself and that this filled your cups. Peace and love, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm Auntie Charmaine, and I am a constant reminder to our tribe to connect mind, body, and soul as we talk everything spirituality, everything herbalism, and all amazing things in between. I am the auntie of the community. Peace and love, y'all.
This is Soul Tribe Media, where your spiritual journey comes alive. A media movement rooted in empowerment, enlightenment, and elevation. Join me for a day in the life with Auntie as I bring you along on these sacred journeys and gaining everyday wisdom. Read our latest publication at OK Universe I Hear You as we keep it real, tell the truth, and go through our healing with real talk. Listen in on the latest Soul Tribe podcast episode as we give voice to spiritual growth and divine timing. Read the latest publication of BNP Chronicles as we talk all things astrology, numerology, holistic wellness, and mindful practices. Come and sit with us as we have Sunday morning messages with Auntie as we talk enlightenment, one auntie to one niece or nephew. Join us for our TikTok live show with me, Auntie Charmaine, as we build that sacred community in motion, one amazing conversation at a time. Let me explain something to you, sweetheart. You have entered an amazing space that is going to keep you full and get you the enlightenment that you're seeking. Welcome to Soul Tribe Media.